Hello, welcome to the DriveDown YouTube channel. My name is Taylor, and thank you for watching. So, you may be wondering, what is DriveDown? If you've watched any of our other videos, we've sort of talked a little bit about it, but DriveDown is going to be a new online car buying website, and it's something that is not currently available. It's a new idea, so we are very, very excited about it, and more details will come soon. But to pair with that, what we decided to do is do a YouTube channel and share some of our cars, review cars. We are car people first and foremost, and wanted to share our passion with you. So we've been reviewing different cars. Today we're going to be looking at a couple of the sort of halfway house, mildly hot SUVs from two of the biggest German manufacturers, which I'm sure you are aware of. We have Audi and BMW. So the cars we're reviewing today, we have the BMW X5 M50i and the Audi SQ7. So going to do a quick walk around of each vehicle, look at the exteriors, look at the interiors, get a couple exhaust clips, and then we will take them on the road and see how they drive. And in terms of a verdict, we are not going to be having any sort of scores or anything, just going to give you our honest opinions. It's going to be mainly me presenting. A couple of my partners may get involved depending on how shy they're feeling today. But yeah, let's get started. All right, so let's start with the contender from Munich. This is the 2021 BMW X5 M50. For those of you who are not as familiar with BMW's sort of newer model strategy, the M Performance models sit sort of between the normal ones and the full, fat, intense M models, right? So the X5 line goes X540, X5 M50i, and then X5M. So this is sort of the middle of the road vehicle. So just to do a quick exterior walk around, go over the spec really quick. This car is black sapphire, which is a metallic black, been a BMW color forever. And this vehicle also has the extended shadow line. So what that gets you is you get black grills, you get black exhaust surrounds, and it sort of makes the car look a little bit meaner. So walking around the right side of the vehicle here, going over the sort of appearance, right? So with the X5 M50, you get the standard M Sport package. So you're going to get a more aggressive front bumper, you're going to get side skirts, you get a different rear bumper, you get these special M wheels, and then all of this is body color, all the cladding, whereas on a normal car, an X-Line car, that would actually be black plastic. I think the car looks very, very aggressive, especially in all black. But the nice thing is that it's not too ostentatious or anything. It definitely still blends in. You do also get the M Sport brakes as standard with the X5 M50, and you can have them in red now, which is a big departure from what BMW's been doing. We have a 4-pot caliper in the front and a 2-pot caliper in the back that is sliding. This one is fixed. So walking around the back here, this also, you can see this is one of my favorite body lines. Manufacturing techniques has just gotten so good now that these manufacturers can do such crazy things from a design perspective. So this character line right here and this line down here, I think really gives the car an aggressive sort of look from the side. Now, if you don't live, where this stuff falls, you can get the car with 21 or 22 inch summer tires. And I know an SUV with summer tires, it's like the most pointless thing ever. But if you live in a warmer climate, you get 315 section tires in the rear. So it really makes the car look wider at the back, and you get these little flared fenders as well on the M Performance or the M Sport models. So looking at the back, we have this M specific rear bumper, and we actually have as well this center diffuser piece. Now if you get a trailer hitch, actually that is not there. There's just a trailer hitch there. As I was saying, shadow line gets you these black exhaust surrounds. And yeah, your M50i badging, a little bit different font. But yeah, I think overall this generation of X5 is a very, very good looking vehicle. Has a good aggressive look from the side, especially with the M Sport package. I know a lot of people are saying that BMW is copying, Lexus with sort of their new taillight designs, but I think it still looks good, and I think it's definitely a BMW, especially with that large front grille. But yeah, let's move on to the Audi. Okay, moving on to the Audi now. The SQ7 is not really a car that I was super familiar with or knew a ton about before doing this video, but it's an awesome car in its own right. And as you can see from looking at it, it's definitely more of a sleeper, if you will. Now, the X5 looks just like an X-Drive 40, so the 6-cylinder with M Sport. This is kind of similar in that it really looks similar to a Q7 with the S-Line package. So, looking at the front, this car does have the black optic package, so that gets you this blacked out grille. Audi has long been the well, they were the pioneer and have long been the king of the large grills, but I don't think this one really is offensive at all, and I think it looks really nice and understated from the front. You can see this vehicle also has the laser headlights, so you get this little caution warning thing in here, the little blue accents, which those are also available on the BMW as well. So walking around the side, the Q7, there's no question, you know, comparing it to the X5, it's the more understated of the two. Not as many crazy body lines down the side. I do like how it has these emphasized wheel arches. Again, big brakes. We have these 6-pot Brembos fixed in the front, 2-pot sliding in the rear. Seems to be a theme. And again, with the black optic, you get this black trim down the side, a little nod to the Group B era, a little Quattro badge. But I think this is a very, very understated looking car, but this is definitely the one for if you want to draw as little attention to yourself while still having 500 horsepower, this would be the vehicle, because there's really not much that differentiates it between a 3.0T. Now walking around the back, you will see, similar to all the other S model Audis, you know, the RS have the oval tailpipes. This car has the quad oval tailpipes, which is sort of a hallmark of the S vehicles. Now looking down in there, they're kind of real. We're gonna call them real. We're gonna give Audi the nod, considering how many cars are there that have fake exhaust. So we'll give them the nod here. But you know, one thing that does frustrate me, and actually I spoke to the owner of this vehicle who generously lent it to us, and one thing that annoys him as well is that even though you get the black optic pack, this is still silver right here. And it does tie in with the badge, but that annoys me a little bit. It sort of stands out because there's no other silver trim on the car besides the exhaust and the badges. So I guess that's it, sort of going over the Audi, but let's sort of summarize how they look from the outside, and then we'll do interiors and then get to driving. All right, so just to summarize sort of the exterior portion of this video, I think it really is the type of situation that it depends on what you want, right? I think the X5 definitely is the more aggressive looking car. Just looking at it right here, it's got more cuts, angles, stuff like that, right? The Audi has those wheel arches, which I think give it a lot of character, but it's definitely more, I would say, understated. I was gonna say ordinary, but it's definitely just more understated, and it definitely is lower than the X5, right? It looks sort of lower, almost like an estate a little bit. Now, the other thing that I did mention is if you don't need the V8s in these two cars, you can still get the appearance of both of these cars with the 6 cylinders. You know, an X5 with M Sport looks exactly like this, same wheels, everything. You get extended shadow line, and a Q7 with the S-Line package, you know, you can get these wheels on a Q7 with the 6 cylinder. So, you know, this is sort of a useful exercise, even if you're not interested in the V8 vehicles. But yeah, overall, I think they're both very good looking cars, and you know, yeah, they both sort of serve their own purpose. So let's take a look at the interiors and see how they compare. All right, so you join me in the interior of the X5 M50. So to talk a little bit about specification before we get moving, this is the black Vernasca leather. Vernasca leather is standard on the M50 models, but you can also get merino. It's a slight upgrade. You get this Sensitech stitched dash, also stitched upper door cards, which is nice, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the Audi because it doesn't have that, and I think it's a big mistake. So the nice stitching here. You know, sitting in here, it's a very, very nice place to be. The new X5 has a very, very well thought out interior. You have the latest version of iDrive, which is iDrive 7.5 now. And you have this big center screen. It's also a touch screen, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto for 2021, which is exciting. You have the live cockpit driver's display, which is sort of, you know, not as configurable as in the Audi, but it does sort of have, you know, different options that you can do. Talking a little bit about seats, which are important in a car like this, the multi-contour seat is standard in this vehicle. That gives you sort of backrest articulation here. Also, ventilated seats are standard as well, which you can see right here with the controls. Everything in here just feels very solid, very nice. This is the aluminum dark mesh trim. Sort of a more sober spec in this car with the sort of black on black. But yeah, very, very nice place to be. I'm going to show you the rear legroom now, so let's hop in the back. Okay, so sitting in the back of the X5, you may notice that we actually have little mounts right here for an iPad and the charging. So if you have little kids, you want them to be entertained back here, you can have sort of your own makeshift entertainment back here. So sitting here, this seat is adjusted to me. I'm about 6 feet tall, very, very comfortable back here. You actually can put your feet underneath the seat, which I like. nice sort of angle with the seat. We have the panoramic sunroof as standard. Yeah, a lot of room back here, very, very comfortable, and heated seats as well, which is an option. But yeah, definitely a very, very nice place to be. Sort of just give you an overview of the interior. So yeah, let's hop over to the Audi and see how that compares. Okay, so now we are in the Audi SQ7. Definitely a very, very different place to be than the X5. You know, Audi has really gone all in on sort of this touchscreen interface, right? So we have a very, very configurable driver's display. You can see you can go full screen with the map. It's definitely more configurable, more adjustable, and has more useful information than the BMW screen does. We have a touch center screen here. Thing I do like is that it does have a haptic feedback, which is nice, and then all of your climate controls and other stuff is controlled down here as well. Now, I will be upfront that I am not as big of a fan of sort of the whole touchscreen model. Range Rovers went to it a couple years ago, and I really don't like it. I like the BMW's approach with actual buttons, but that can be, you know, sort of opinion based. You know, that's my opinion. You may enjoy it. The gear selector is down here. And then, you know, this has sort of gone with that trend of a fake air vent sort of along the whole sort of length of the dash. It definitely looks nice, looks clean. I would worry about this black sort of trim getting damaged or scratched, especially down here. And then this car does have the dark wood as well. So looking, you know, at the rest of the interior, like I mentioned, I sort of find the tops of these doors to be a little cheap. You know, they still are nice soft touch, but they, you know, no stitching or anything like that. And I think it sort of looks weird, especially when you consider the fact that this dash is leather, right? So the Alcantara door cards are nice. Talking seats, so these seats are standard on the SQ7. They are the S-Line sport seats. I do like the quilting on this. The leather feels nice, feels quality. Again, panoramic sunroof. The nice thing about these seats, which I didn't realize, is that the thigh bolsters and the side bolsters, which the side bolsters in the BMW adjust, but these adjust, which I think is really, really cool. And these actually adjust out as well. You can sort of see that adjustment there. Overall, you know, very, very nice place to be. Typical Audi, honestly, you know, I think it feels very, very similar to some of the other Audi models out today. It's just, you know, one thing I would sort of caution to you is that if you aren't a person who likes touchscreens, this interior is probably, and this infotainment is probably going to be frustrating for you. Let's go hop in the back, see how that is. Okay, sitting in the back of the SQ7. Very, very comfortable. I have plenty of room, plenty of leg room. I can get my feet under the seat, which is a big thing for me. I love that. You can sort of spread out. Again, this seat is configured to me. I'm about 6 feet, so plenty of room back here. These seats also are reclined quite a bit. You can see they are reclinable due to the third row in this vehicle. So this car does have a third row. The X5 we're testing does not, but it is optional. My opinion on the third rows in these midsize SUVs, I'm not sure they're super, super useful because they obviously are only good for smaller individuals, small children, but it is an option nonetheless. So what we can see down here is we also have heated seats back here like in the X5, and we actually have our own controls. Nice thing is they're haptic. I'm not sure if you can hear that. But yeah, you know, overall, definitely comfortable back here, a good place to be. The surprising thing to me actually is that even with the lower roofline, where this car does look lower, you still have plenty of headroom, you know. So I'm, like I said, 6 feet, and you can see that I clearly have a lot of headroom back here. So you know, I think honestly that's gonna do it in the SQ7. Just get a look at the sort of overall design of the interior. No doubt, it is very cohesive. You know, it's just a matter of if you're going to like those touchscreens or not, which I don't know. I'm sort of undecided on. But yeah, it's something you need to try out yourself. So I think that's going to do it sort of for the exterior and interior overview piece. So why don't we take this opportunity we'll get them on the road, and then we'll conclude with some thoughts. If you've watched the M850 review we did, you may know sort of this scene that I'm no longer alone. This is Drew.
Hello, DriveDown.
Drew is one of the other partners. It's myself, Drew, and Mitch are the three sort of people that have come together to do DriveDown. So yeah, you know, I think in the driving portions, it's nice to have
another person to talk to about sort of what's going on with the car, and what we think. And also, I think you guys will be sick of hearing from just me. So I think it'll be good to have another person. So
as we usually are.
Yeah,
by
thanks.
this time of the day.
Thank you very much. So why don't we get started?
Yeah, let's do it. The way they are able to generate this kind of power out of the small displacement V8 is amazing.
4-liter. And this motor's
insane.
in everything, though. I mean, so, you know, and one thing that you and I talked about with this vehicle is budget Bentayga, right?
Completely.
Budget Cayenne turbo.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what this car really is. Now, talking about how this vehicle drives compared to the X5, because we've both driven the X5 as well, and we'll talk, obviously, about the X5 while we're driving it, but this is the more relaxed of the two.
Yeah,
there's no question.
I lean towards BMW as the more dynamic, driver-focused experience. Audi has always kind of been in the back seat in that world. You know, RS cars excluded, even though some of those have been soft. RS5 is a topic for another day. Great engine, that was about it. We're driving something now, though, that has a little bit of character. You know, it has a little bit of noise.
It does have character.
You know, it has a little bit of, you know...
Popular man.
Yeah. You know, it has more of an experience that you'll remember. Yeah. And, you know, mainly exhaust for this car.
Yeah, I mean, let's pop it. So with Audis, we have the Drive Select button, right? So we'll go into dynamic here, slap it over to manual. And so, you know, here's the thing with these motors. It's the torque, right? So, you know, I'm at 3 grand right now. And that's the thing, you know, these SUVs, and we talked about this, I don't know that you need the RSQ8. I don't know that you need the X5M or X6M. I mean, day to day, how comfortable this car is, the performance, I mean, and dynamically, you know, on summer tires, I mean, this thing is stupid. And those shifts, really, it's aggressive.
Yeah, you know, is it the best ZF programming? Probably not. Does it get the job done? Absolutely. I think the torque, I think life in general is about torque, because high horsepower cars are great, and for, you know, your weekend special, your Sunday driver, it's nice to rev the nuts off your car. But in day-to-day driving, torque is what gets the job done. It's your 0 to 40, it's your 0 to, you know, 0 to 60 if you're, you know, have roads like that. But realistically, when you're getting around town, your most thrills are below 4,000 RPMs.
Oh boy.
So, switching drivers.
In the passenger seat! Oh my god! Dude. Jesus.
You can't deny that the car,
that was genuine, by the way,
is,
oh my god,
is fun. You know, is this a sleeper? Potentially. I mean,
is it?
I don't think you're drag racing.
Can we be honest? It looks like a mom mobile.
It looks.
We're gonna talk about that. It looks like a mom mobile.
Completely.
Okay, just as long as we're on the same page.
Absolutely.
The X5 is the more aggressive looking of the two. I mean, it's the one that you would walk into the showroom and go, I want that.
Yeah.
You're not gonna walk into an Audi showroom and look at this car and go, I want that.
I think what sells this car is the exhaust note. I mean,
so it's so funny because it's something so simple, but for car people, like, exhaust is everything.
It means everything. And the fact that the automakers finally figured it out, and now with all the new emissions issues,
yeah,
they're already back to muffling these cars. I mean, these cars, and the verbal tunes, I think, have gotten a little out of hand.
But the, like, blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
blah, blah,
I mean, the new
yeah.
Urus is a phenomenal car, but it's just way too theatrical for an SUV.
Well, it's a Lambo.
It is.
The person who wants that wants that. If that thing could shoot fireworks out of the exhaust, I think the owners would be very happy.
And to each their own, but like even that like mid-pedal kick down, you're getting, you know, for such a mundane car,
Yeah.
you're getting something that gives you a tickle.
It gives you a little tickle.
Yeah, a little tickle. I mean, it's what you want, you know, especially in a daily driver.
I'm telling you, this car, what dominates the experience for me is the ride.
Yeah.
It is so comfortable and quiet. And we're on snows, by the way. This car's on snow tires.
We're on a choppy Midwestern road.
You don't feel anything.
The car is floaty with the exhaust off. It's quiet.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Could you do 500 miles?
Yes.
Easily.
Yes. 100%.
Seats are great.
Yep.
Adjustable thigh support.
And what I talked about a little bit when I did the interior overview, though, is the sticking point for a lot of people in this car is going to be this center arrangement. You know, are you a fan of having all touch screens? I'm not sure that I am. You could call me old-fashioned, but I do like the haptic feedback. I feel like it does give you some sort of tactility, whereas like if you're just punching a touch screen, it kind of got nothing.
This is overwhelming. There's too much screen here.
Yeah.
And not enough button.
Yeah.
I prefer X5 buttons, center controller for the iDrive. You know, when you're driving on the freeway at a decent clip, you can't be stumbling for all this. Are the steering wheel controls nice? Yes. You got your phone. I've never used voice control in any vehicle.
Nope. Useless.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It was useless when it came out in, God, I don't even know when, what, early 2000s, and it's still useless 20 years on.
It was so terrible then.
And it's still so bad.
Terrible.
I know.
It just never worked.
I know.
We'll get into price. It's not cheap by any means, but it's also not Bentayga money, which takes us back to the original question. Is this, you know, the reasonable Bentayga?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah, it is, but the problem is that you have the Bentayga is an item. The Urus is an item. A Cayenne Turbo even is an item. I don't know that this is an item. It's got to be, this is for somebody who wants to fly under the radar, still cares about driving, because this car also has the active rear steering, which makes it feel super agile. You know, I think it's, for me, the problem with this car is how it looks.
Yeah.
It's a problem for me.
100%.
That's the problem for me. The way it drives in here, we talked about the touch screens, quality, motor, transmission leaves a little bit to be desired, the programming, but I mean, as a car to drive every day, I mean, you couldn't have a complaint in the world.
This is a great tool.
Yes.
The other cars will get emotion out of you.
Yeah. I think the X5 is a little bit more emotional than this car's.
I think we should go find out.
I think we should. Okay, so we're in the X5. May notice my shirt's a different color.
I'm still wearing gray.
Yeah, you're still.
I wear the same thing every day.
You're still dressed the same.
So
had a little issue with our video yesterday. I'll play you a clip right here. So yeah, we had no audio when I went to go edit it. So kind of an issue. Except most people, maybe some people would actually like that.
You know,
probably.
They're probably already sick of us.
Yeah,
we're only on like video 2 or 3.
Yeah, and this is your first video. They're definitely sick of you.
So. No, that's for sure.
Okay, so we're in the X5.
Yes.
Okay, so
M550i.
X5 M50i.
Can we get simpler naming structures?
No. Maybe you're just, you know, need more intelligent people.
I guess so. And this is just, but immediately you feel the response of this engine and this drivetrain. It is way more immediate and just has a little more sense of urgency. The Audi's a little more lackadaisical. Almost feels like built-in turbo lag. Just my opinion.
Now, this car, so the Audi has rear steering.
Correct.
Has air suspension.
Yes, part of the SQ7.
Gesture control. Gesture control. Nope, not doing anything.
It works when it feels like working. They need to get rid of it. Okay.
I'm gonna pop it into Sport Plus here.
You get a nice little rumble out of the exhaust. Right away, the engine is the dominating feature in this drive. I mean, BMW really has this 4.4 figured out. Jesus.
Yeah.
The way it cracks off the shifts, right, I think is pretty impressive. Now,
very impressive.
So you can get air suspension or active rear steer. You can't get both. Okay.
Strange.
So
okay.
so that's one thing that's pretty curious that I find. So you can't have that sort of, you know, cushy ride that you get in the Audi, but also have that agility from the rear steer, which I think is interesting.
You know, I think air suspension plays a bigger part. You know, rear steer is nice. The Audi, I think, has a slightly longer wheelbase,
right?
A larger third row. Air suspension would go very far on this car. I mean,
right.
It just to iron out these imperfections, these undulations in the road.
This feels a little choppy, and we're on the 20s. So imagine, you know, on the 21s or the 22s. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be a little bumpy, and we do have adaptive suspension, but I mean that only goes so far, right?
You know, it doesn't ride bad. No. It's just the Audi absorbs the bumps a little better.
So I mean, that's $2,000. Right
even
there.
Down low, this engine, the Audi almost feels like it has built-in turbo lag.
Yeah,
I think it feels like they did it on purpose.
I think, yeah, and like you mentioned, the displacement, having that extra, you know, 0.4 liters. I don't know. And I think one thing you and I talked about is the way this car responds. It's very like instant. It's very. There's no like smoothness to it. Like, I don't know. It's smooth, but it reacts in an aggressive way. Whereas the Audi, like, you know, for example, okay, here's third gear, $3,000, right? And the way it fires off those shifts too, like those cracks.
The ZF programming on this 8-speed, or
just
BMW's programming, is incredible. I mean, we're getting to the point now where these automatic transmissions are dual clutches. But
pretty much.
But they are smoother around town.
Yes.
Do you get that wild downshift like you do on a dual clutch?
Well, you can't go 3 gears, you know, boom, 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 you know.
But to be honest with you, this on a comfort level,
right,
in drive, in traffic, is perfect.
Yeah.
And when you get on your favorite back road like we are right now, it gives you enough response.
Right.
You're never track daying this. You're never track daying 90%.
Can you imagine if you did that?
Oh, these tires would last 4 laps.
Yeah,
and the brakes would be gone.
Oh, absolutely gone. Yeah, those fixed calipers, you know.
God,
but so, you know, the other interesting thing I think is, and I've noticed it in other Audi products that I've driven, and you've had more seat time in Audis than I have, but when you lift off the throttle in the SQ7, it almost like surges. Like there's like momentum, which is funny because it's it's got, you know, no inertia. You'd think it's a 4-liter V8, but it just sort of surges. Whereas when you know, accelerate and then lift off, it's like
this has throttle response. Audi, you know, B7 RS4 is another good example. Throttle response is, the engine's great. Throttle mapping, not so great. Not adjustable going back into 07. But now with the technology they have, it should be better, but it's not.
I'm sure they're sick of me driving. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it. From the driver's seat, I immediately feel like I'm sitting a little higher than I am in the Audi.
The Audi just feels lower in general.
Yeah, this feels more SUV riding high, which I actually prefer in my SUVs. Whereas the Audi, you're kind of halfway house.
Yeah.
You're kind of in a wagon estate. You're kind of in an SUV. It doesn't really know what it really wants to be.
Right.
I will say though, I wish this seat sat lower. I wish I could go maybe another 2 inches down.
I think the seats are probably, even though they don't have that backrest articulation like these do, I think the seats in the Audi are probably better.
Yeah, these are really comfortable.
These are like cushy seats.
I actually, these are nice too though.
Yeah.
And if we click over real quick to sport.
Yeah, now we're in sport
plus.
plus.
You know, we're just gonna leave it in drive. I think kickdown's a big thing. I mean, immediately, you know, you just rock it off the line. And it's just the immediacy of this engine, this gearbox.
Yeah.
It dominates the driving experience. The steering wheel is just the perfect size. Your grip placement's amazing.
But we should talk about the steering.
Yes, the elephant in the room.
Which I didn't expect. And I don't really think I noticed, because I drove this car to the shoot and it felt fine to me. But once we drove the SQ7, I was like, oh, because it's got, now cars today, we have to accept that cars aren't going to have steering feel.
Comfort? Yes. Go.
Yes. Cars are not going to have steering feel, right?
Yes.
They're not going to have steering feel, but a rack can be accurate. A rack can give you positive feedback. You get nothing. This feels completely numb and overly light.
Truly nothing, and is a very remote experience from what the front wheels are doing.
Yeah, which I was shocked by, honestly. And again, the SQ7. Now the SQ7 is interesting because you turn in and it almost gets heavier. Yes. You get almost more resistance.
Yeah, it weights up.
It weights up. Whereas you get, even in sport steering weight in this, you still are really not getting much in the weight of steering feel.
It almost feels like it doesn't change. I think Audi's sport setting for the steering is artificially too heavy. Yeah. But this is artificially too light.
Yeah. You could do one finger.
All day.
Here's the thing, right? You know, we are probably I know we're harder to please than probably most of the people that are going to be looking at this car, you know, and most people may not notice that. But if you want, you know, and this, I guess, actually gets back to the point of these cars, right? I think you and I both agree that these halfway house models, right, the M performance cars, so like the M340, you know, the M50 models, M550, all that good stuff, you know, I think we agree that those are really appealing models, right?
Absolutely.
And that's in addition to the Audi S models, which they've been making those for years.
You know, ultimately, if you're moving up into this segment, you want a little more in the car. Yeah. And I do feel that X5M, if you really want the hardcore stuff, is the way to go, but it's not needed.
No.
And at that price point, you know,
and it rides a lot harder. You got the big 21 in the front, 22s in the rear,
and you have the massive rear, width.
Yeah, summer tires. It's a pain in the butt to get winters for those rims. If you want winter tires, you got to go separate set of wheels and tires, which is $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, it just, you know, the cost doesn't quite fit the experience.
No,
you know, and this and a small sports car for the summer is going to give you a lot more fun and entertainment.
I would agree.
And I think this is just an easier car to live with than an X5M. You've had more seat time in those, but I mean,
they're cool.
At the end of the day, this is a very comfortable car.
It is. Yeah. Why don't we hang out in the backs of them and sort of come to some sort of conclusion if we can?
Yeah.
So
okay. So time to conclude.
Yes.
Should we start with the window sticker game?
Well, first,
sticker battle.
I must compliment you on your seat. I don't have
a
fold-out seat.
Yes, my seat.
You know, very classy.
It's great that BMW still has this, isn't it?
That is, but do you have a self-lowering entry? Now my seat is ground level. My feet are flush on the floor.
I honestly, can we talk about how these cars have air suspension and they just like camber themselves out?
It's incredible. It's incredible.
That thing looks stamped.
Not that I would ever use this function.
You would use this more.
I'm envious. I'm envious.
Okay. All right. So, first of all, before we dive into, you know, what we think of the two cars, let's talk about specs. Okay. So base price.
Base price, $84,800.
Okay, $82,800. So what options do you have on that?
So with that comes with standard rear wheel steering.
Okay.
You have all your safety features.
Air suspension?
Yes, air suspension standard.
What about radar cruise?
Radar cruise, that is standard.
Wow.
Impressive, impressive. Ooh. That might be part of the prestige package.
Okay.
Yes, sorry, driver's assistant package. Is included, you were correct, $5,600.
And that gets you laser lights as well?
Laser lights are an additional $1,650. It does come with LED though.
Okay, okay. Same as this.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, both cars I think are pretty fairly equipped.
Right.
Audi, you know, quilted leather, standard, kind of nice. Optional on the BMW.
The leather quality in that one is definitely better, I would say. You know, this one's got the Vernasca leather, as you saw during the interior overview, and it's nice. It's just, you know, the merino leather is definitely worth the upgrade if you are looking at one of these.
Yeah, I tend to
get some nice patterning and stuff like that.
And I think this one's optioned pretty reasonably. Yeah. All things that you would probably want. You know,
summer tires as standard.
Yes.
Right.
Summer tires as standard.
You would need a set of snows.
Yes,
which
this car is riding.
Yes.
And let's talk total price.
Okay.
Where are you at?
So out the door. So this one, by the way, is pretty base. just got the parking assistance, which is the 3D view cameras and all that stuff, and then premium, which gets you head-up display and the lovely gesture control.
Yes, which is
which we
completely
love.
necessary.
Which we love.
In
yeah.
that car, because it just makes the driving experience.
And then the heated armrests, which you enjoy.
Yes, especially on a day like today, freezing.
Yeah, it's even colder than it was when we filmed the other time.
This is crazy out here.
So, and then the extended shadow line. So I'm sitting at $86,495, and that's including $995 destination.
I'm a little higher than you. I'm sitting at $96,185.
Okay, so we're talking 10 grand now.
Yeah.
Now let's talk
these
about
are packages that you almost need.
You almost need them.
You got 12 grand in options here. You could probably shave off the $600 paint, towing package, $750.
Oh, Daytona gray though.
Yeah, I know, it's a good color.
So the interesting thing is, you know, BMW Cleveland, where we got this car from. Shout out.
Yes.
Shout out.
Thank you, BMW Cleveland.
So they have one on the showroom floor that is carbon black. It has the merino leather. It's got air suspension. It's got executive, so it's got the laser light headlights, and it's got driving assistance pro, so radar guided cruise. And that car is 93. So you're looking pretty similar.
Yeah.
So the 10 grand price gap between these cars is not represented, because that's much more well equipped than this car is.
I don't know. Ultimately, you know, we need to come to a conclusion. We're probably not going to agree.
I would guess that we aren't going to agree.
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
I'm going to take a stab at this.
Okay.
For all around usability, and if the cars were evenly equipped, I'm leaning towards the Audi just because I think it gives you more for the same money. On that note, the BMW is more dynamic and definitely more driver focused and a more enjoyable seat experience. But I think I got to go with the Audi on this one.
I can't fault you. I'm actually very impressed. Like I said at the beginning of the exterior walk around of the Audi, the SQ7 is not a car that I really had given a ton of thought to. I think in person, those wheel arches, I keep coming back to them because I think they're really cool. I think they're like a nod to, like, you know, the old school Audis that had the flared arches and stuff.
It has some stance.
It's got some stance, but like I said, my issue is that I would never walk into a showroom and see it and be like, damn, like, that's what I want.
I completely
agree. The X5 has presence.
Yes.
I think that for me is huge. Powertrain is pretty much why I buy a car. I'm not gonna say I buy a car because of exhaust note, but I'm just saying. In which case, actually, that would win.
I gotta tell you, this is not lacking.
It's not lacking, I know. But this powertrain feels more responsive. The way the ZF in this car, you know, rips off the shifts, you know, gives the cracks and stuff, and that's more comfortable. But I don't know that I would go for air suspension. I think I like how this car rides. It's got a little bit of purpose in the way that it rides. Now, it all depends on what you're buying these cars for, right? If you are buying, you know, you just want the V8 version of these cars, you know, the Audi's probably better because it's more comfortable, everything like that. But the BMW is going to give you a little bit more sporting, you know, pretensions, but embarrassingly with numb steering.
Yes, and a more youthful appearance. You know,
for sure.
I think this, like you said earlier, flies under the radar.
Yeah. But still, as you saw from the when you did that poll, that was genuine shock.
It has fireworks up top, but again, BMW. Great job. Dynamics are excellent. It's what you guys are known for. Hopefully,
the hot V V8. Enjoy them while they're here.
Yeah. So hopefully you continue to build them for at least a little while longer, so that way we can still have a channel.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's about it. Yeah. So, classic. We don't agree. I'm taking home the BMW. You're taking home the Audi.
Wait till sports car season.
Perfect.
Maybe we'll find some common ground.
Maybe. Well, perfect, because then, you know, if we both pick the same car, we'd have to leave one here. So this way we both drive them.
Until then.
I think that's going to do it, yeah? I'm Taylor.
Drew.
Thank you very much for watching. And, you know, we are obviously a younger channel. And like I mentioned, it is sort of, you know, all based around this concept of a new car buying platform online, which, you know, more information on will be coming out shortly. And, you know, we hope to do podcasts, more YouTube videos. So any constructive criticism, if you don't like our outfits, right? Anything, whatever.
I won't change, but he might.
Let us know. You know, we're always open to recommendations. We want this to be something that, you know, can be collaborative and have content that you viewers enjoy. So that's about it.
Yeah.
Until next time, you know, farewell from DriveDown, and I hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching this, and take care.
Please like and subscribe.